This is Zeus. How you doing today? Global Peace Project. I was thinking about some things, and the one thing was the stories. And so stories are so important, right? They control a narrative. And so the narrative that's controlled is how the people are controlled. It's kind of interesting. Back in the day, and this is kind of funny, this is the thing that's kind of, I used to be a preacher, street preacher, using the Ten Commandments and all that stuff. I used to follow this guy named Ray Comfort. And it's kind of interesting, diabolically speaking, the Romans, when they would hang people on the cross, they would castrate the men. That was their funnest practice, because they would fuck them. And cut their balls off, and then they'd fuck them just like they would a woman. And that's what they did to women. They'd rape them and pass them through. It's kind of like during the Spanish Inquisition, when they would bring the Bible there to these towns, and they would get all the leaders, they'd set up court, and they'd say, this is the book you're going to learn and you're going to teach, and if you don't want to do it, and the leaders would say, sorry, we need more information, right? Well, the information that they would receive was the men were beaten, castrated, and stuck on top of a spike. They'd put it on their ass, right? And it would just slowly penetrate through their body, and they would wail and moan, and everybody could see it. It was in the court, everybody was there. It's kind of like the circle downtown. Everybody was down there. They could see what was going on to these people that said no, right? And so you said no, the same thing was going to happen to you. So guess what? Everybody said, okay, we're going to try this. It's just a book, right? Well, 40 million people later, through the Spanish Inquisition, over 4 generations, we have developed a DNA frequency, kind of like the 100 monkey syndrome. I don't know if anybody knew about the 100 monkey syndrome. I think I've talked about it before, but the 100 monkey syndrome was, they've got 3 islands down in Papua New Guinea, 1 species of monkey on 3 islands, nowhere else in the world, right? And they're like, on these 3 islands only, right? And they're like, well, okay, so they put researchers on island A, B, and C, and they started feeding these monkeys sweet potatoes, right? And on island C, the researcher took his sweet potato that he ate, monkeys all seen it, washed it in the river, and 1 monkey out of the monkeys there started doing it, washing his sweet potato, then another and another, and about 100 monkeys did it. Then instantly, every friggin' monkey on every island started doing the same thing, without ever seeing what was going on island C. See, DNA frequency and the vibration and the thought field that most not even aware of, because they're just wearing a flesh suit, and that's the only thing they see is what's outside of them. But everything is nothing but vibration and nothing but energy. And so as a certain number of population changes a thought process, then so too does the population of the area. And they've surmised many times that if we got X amount of people to believe a certain thing, we could change the way the world actually goes. And so it goes in both directions, and that's the fun thing about it. The direction it's been going in my life had been in a negative sense, and it's like, well, how do I change the narrative, right? How do I change my narrative and what I'm seeing, because it all happens right now. And the right nowness is everything outside of me is on a field of potentiality. This is the atoms that are in the field, and they're basically broke down within a 7-second doing It's called the 7-second gap of conscious reasoning. They did a test where they pricked the person's finger and they had the guy's skull off, and they were seeing where it registered in the brain. And then they did the brain, they pricked it in the same place to see how long it would take for the message to come. Now, when they pricked the finger, instantly it showed. I mean, it was like before even they pricked the finger, it showed, right? And then they pricked the part inside the brain, and it took, I guess, 7 seconds for it to register on the finger. That makes sense in the fact that there's miles of neural network that's just going on inside you that the message is being passed to. So what they've actually anticipated is that this gap in time is the anticipation of the brain of the pain, and it manufactures it based upon its anticipation of it. That is mind-bending. And in certain areas, in a sense, everything is vibration. Are we collapsing atoms in the field to fit a narrative that we've got installed in our mind, in a story? Stories are powerful. Stories develop belief, even though the person had never seen it. I mean, we're talking about the Christ thing, and we're talking 2,000 years ago, and Jesus wasn't even his name, okay? And his balls weren't cut off, which would have been a fucking high price for the, that would have been a gift to the Caesar. Here's Jesus' nuts. We prepared it for you. Because they used to make little coin sacks out of the balls of cows. They made it into leather as a leather coin thing. Same thing with us, baby. And they may have done the same thing and gave it to the Caesar if this man was Jesus Christ, right? And we don't even know, because we're talking 2,000 years of information that has been doctored, and we know it's been doctored shit. We went through the Rona, and we found out that every news station on the planet was saying the same canned response. If you don't think that this is not a freaking hologram, what the fuck, right? Pardon my French. I am quite affluent. But the reality is, I think we've been lied to. And if we've been lied to, for what measure? Well, control, power, not wanting to do anything. 116 families run everything on the planet. 116 families run everything on the planet? Come on. Are you kidding me? I don't know what I don't know. This is stuff that's been told to me, and I've pulled out of the field, and if there's anything different that someone else knows, then now I have something else to go back to. But I did walk through a field of total ignorance to anything. Total ignorance. And then it slowly came to me as I asked questions. I mean, how do you set your day up? Is you ask questions, so now the universe can give you what you asked, the answer to it. Now, funny enough, if that's truly the case, why would I ever want to plan anything other than something that's creative and something that's going to benefit mankind? And I say mankind is myself, right? Because as within, so without. And so if I can actually set myself up to be the peace that I want to be, and then see it, why not? Why wouldn't I do it? You know, the funny thing was, if you listen to all the music and all the stuff there, everything is outside of you. It's directing your attention to put Sweet Home Alabama, right? So now, instantly, since you are a being of immense power, we found that out in epigenetics, Dr. Bruce Lipton, right? That the human body is a construct of about 50, 60 trillion cells. right? And every cell in your body is made of atoms, and the atom itself is nothing but electricity, electrons, protons. There's nothing in the center. They went into the gold atom, and they went into the gold atom to find out what the nucleus was so they could actually create more of it, right? Because they got that technology today. And there was nothing there. It was a vortex. It's empty space. And then in that empty space is even more things that look like little machines. Quarks and all that dilly squat. So now with that being the case, we're made of that. And every atom puts out 1.4 kilohertz. Not much. You wouldn't even feel it if it touched your face as it is touching your face, because you're holding on to atoms, and the air's full of atoms, and you breathe atoms in, and you're an electrical being, and that's electricity. That's where they get the electricity in the field with the generator when they spin atoms around, or not atoms, but magnets inside a coil of gold or copper or some other precious type thing. So these things here, they're pulling the energy out of the field. And it's our energy, right? So everybody, that's why you don't feel very powerful, because that is your energy. You're feeding it into the field by your attention to it. It's interesting. This stuff here, I think about this, and I think to myself, what is it that I am? It really comes down to the whole truth. Who am I, right? I am Dwayne-William Stearman, the leaders of our country. If you actually go back and look at it, Benjamin Franklin hyphenated his name, George Washington. So, I mean, when we think about that, what does that mean? It makes you into a logial fact, right? Instead of full caps, which is nom nagere, which is on a tombstone, it is a dead person. You're a dead entity when they put your name into full caps. In fact, when they run paper all over the place as a straw man, they create different versions of you in order to tag money out of you. It's kind of funny. You know, and these informations are all readily informable on the web, through CIA declassified and all that stuff there. And if you get into that, you will enjoy it, right? Learning about yourself, what you can do, who you can be, the version of you. And I have a strange thought that it's love. I just want to say thank you all for listening to that. That was my little, what would be classified as a rant, I guess. But the reality was, it was just the things I've been thinking this morning, and I thought, well, I got to get it out. And it's good information. Maybe it'll get on the videos. I don't know. But if you enjoyed this, please. Money sign, Global Peace Project. This is my vocation. I don't understand why the Lord or God, the universe, put me in this place where I'm supposed to learn stuff and help people and do what I'm supposed to do. And I've had people say bad things about me, and it's like, what can you do about it? You can't do nothing about it. All you can be is the highest version of yourself in the moment, because, friends, I know some days is not as good as others, right? Because it's all starting right up here, and how am I walking into the field is going to be the determiner. I mean, how I'm thinking is going to be the determiner of my experience, because I'm going to be attracted to it on a vibrational scale. Vibration. What are vibrations? That would be the next video. What is vibration, and how do I know it? Blessings, love, peace. Have the best day ever. Remember, every day and every way you get better, better, and better. Every day in every way I get better, better, and better. It's a great affirmation. Today is the day of my amazing good fortune. Blessings.